Well, the fight against ISIS taking a prominent role on the 2016 campaign trail, with Donald Trump on Fox and Friends this morning saying the United States should cut off the terror group's oil revenue and put American boots on the ground. In the meantime, former Florida Governor Jeb Bush is set to outline what his campaign is calling an aggressive new strategy against ISIS in a speech this evening at the Reagan Presidential Library. Well, joining me to talk now about his plan, Rick Santorum, Pennsylvania Senator and 2016 Republican presidential candidate. Great to have you here with us. So let's talk about your plan to deal with ISIS.
Well, the plan is really to do exactly what needs to be done to eliminate their caliphate. The fact is that they are gaining strength because they are holding ground and they're not losing ground. And so the most important thing, cutting off the oil would be great. All the other things that candidates are talking about, but you've got to take ground, and we're not doing that, and that's because we don't fund the Kurds who are willing to take back some of that ground. We don't directly fund them.
So would your solution then be directly funding and arming the Kurds, which isn't being done now, or to put a bunch of U.S. troops on the ground?
Yes, both. We need to, and more. We need to also fund the Jordanians. We provide funding for the Jordanians historically, but Jordan is overrun by refugees. They'd like to have more military aid to engage into this fight, and we're not providing it to them.
But to a lot of Americans sitting here, I think a lot of folks probably don't have a big stomach for putting a lot of Americans on the ground. How many are you thinking about under your plan?
It's a combination of, again, funding the indigenous forces there, the Iraqis, the Kurds, the Jordanians, as well as providing additional boots on the ground. Number one, to help coordinate those activities, airstrikes, a lot more airstrikes that need to be done to soften up the ISIS positions, and if necessary, to provide some boots on the ground to special forces primarily to help support these other indigenous forces.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear here. So just in terms of the U.S. boots on the ground, what you'll be talking about is primarily special operations. Is that right? And forward air controllers?
It's a combination of things to support the other forces, as well as provide some specific tasks that we can do to help neutralize the ISIS forces that are against us. Yes.
And while I have you here, I want to ask you about Donald Trump's idea of taking the oil and actually taking the revenue. I mean, heck, we get blamed for it anyway. People around the world say you take oil, even though we haven't. What do you think of that idea?
Well, I think it's a bad idea. I think the idea that we're going in there, well, I think first off, the United States is the #1 producer of oil in the world. The fact that we would go in there and seize foreign assets, I mean, that's something the United States has never done before. It's against everything we believe in. That we don't fight for mercenary purposes. We fight because we want to enhance the security of our country, not to rob people of the resources they have. The Iraqi people need those resources in order. The folks in that and by the way, Syria, too, need those resources to be able to restart their economy. And for the United States to come in and confiscate those, I think, is a horrible idea.
All right, fair enough. I want to ask you about the campaign here at home. 17 candidates, resources are limited. Presidential candidate Rick Perry, well, there are reports that his team has stopped paying some of its staffers, including those at its Austin headquarters, with the exception of some travel funds that they're being paid for. So how are things looking for your campaign in terms of its financing?
Well, we just announced a couple of new hires today, as a matter of fact, in New Hampshire and in Iowa, and we're building out our team. We feel very confident heading back to Iowa tomorrow for another 7-day swing. We feel very, very confident that we're going to do extremely well when the voters of Iowa and the voters of the rest of the country start to focus in on who they really want to be president, and they start looking at the record, and someone who has a great record of accomplishment and someone who's been outside of Washington and knows how to fix it. Those are the combination. Having experience and plus being outside and watch this zoo going on here for the last 10 years and can come in here and clean house and make things happen.
All right. Senator Rick Santorum, thank you so much for joining us from Washington today. Best of luck on the campaign trail.